Hello, everyone. Welcome to another SC1 factory training. My name is Dr. Dondee Nettles, and I am solo again, though I think Marcy will be joining us pretty soon. But I'm really excited about this specific training tonight because we are on week 9 of a 26-week SC1 factory training, which means we're going to go 6 months solid in this. And the whole purpose of this is for ITT, the Invite Tool team, and building your LifeVantage organizations on the customer side and on the consultant side. And the best way to do that is to create an SC1 factory, because the SC1 rank is when this becomes real for people, because it's when their profits start exceeding their expenses. In other words, it becomes a profitable business. And when people do that and they're taking life-changing products that are actually making a difference and solving some problems, you've got a predictably sustainable and predictably successful business. And that's what we're talking about. But today, on week 9, we're going to be talking about opportunity presentations and why it's critically important to be performing them. If you are not currently, or you are not already, I hope that you plan on becoming a presenter very, very soon. And here's the reason why. The people at the front of the room, or the people hosting the Zoom meeting, or the people doing the presentation, whether it's in someone's living room or a little larger one in a hotel, or even a larger one in a massive building or something like that. Those are the people that are the most influential. They create the most weight because they're causing people to watch. And what is happening? They are the ones, therefore, that are making the most profit. And this is a profitable business when it's done right. So let's get into the actual content. So why do opportunity presentations matter? It's critically important because, one, people join people, and they join movements. They join things that are larger than them. They don't join companies unless the company is the one that created the movement. Think of Apple as an example. When back in 1980s, the late 1980s, when Steve Jobs came back to the company he founded and was fired from, when they brought him back, he said he made a 2-word statement: think different. And the world did. And now, as a result of that, Apple is the most valuable company on planet Earth. It was the first trillion-dollar company, and it leads the pack because they got people to join something, join a movement that they felt aligned with. So other than Apple, as the very rare exception, people join people and movements. They don't join companies. What is necessary to build your business? Duplication. And duplication happens when the message is clear, it's simple, and it resonates with people's needs. In other words, the push or the vision or what the company stands for is actually solving problems and meeting people's needs. And that is one thing that LifeVantage does, and does very, very well. And then from that process, confidence is what creates growth. Confidence that if you buy these products, they're going to work for you. Confidence that if I join this company, it's going to work for me. I'm going to be well supported. I'm going to actually be joining a movement that is worth joining. Those are very critical things. And that's why doing opportunity presentations is so critically important. Now let's talk about the 6 components of a winning presentation. And this is, as the presenter, these are the 6 things that all network marketing companies are looking for. All network marketing companies find important, but you will not find all network marketing companies talking about all 6 of these, because maybe they don't have all 6 of them in place in a world-class caliber. The 6 components of a winning presentation are: 1, your story, who you are, why it's relevant. And this is more for the prospects in the room, because are you someone they can relate to? Because if the prospects that are there for new information, and whether they were asked to come, whether they wanted to come, whether they were brought under duress. I remember Chris Michael, if you guys know who he is, when he first joined LifeVantage, he talks about asking people if they want to go play softball. So he goes and picks them up to go play softball, and said, oh, and then he drives them over to someone's house to watch a business meeting. There was no softball in the intention, but that's the way he got people in his car. So I'm not saying to do that. But the key here as the presenter, because your story is the most important when there's people in the room. especially when they're brand new. They need to have some kind of rapport with you. They need to make sure that you're a trustworthy person. That's why your story is so critically important. Then the company story. What is the company all about? The products. Are the products relevant? Are they what people are looking for? Is it what the prospects in the room would want to purchase? The timing, is that the right timing for the company? Are the trends in the world and in the company going in the right direction? In other words, it would be something worthwhile to join for the prospects, or at least you're giving them the ability to make that determination. And then lastly, the compensation plan, because the other two, there's two variables, two most critical variables in a network marketing business opportunity. One, that products are being sold or people are purchasing products. And from the other side, the business building side of this, is there money to be made? So if there is money to be made, in other words, commissions from the sales being made, you've got a wonderful compensation plan. And in each one of these things, I'm going to go to in depth. So let's first look at your story. Telling your story, and you want to make sure you keep it in 2 minutes or less. There's 4 parts. The 4 parts of your story, and this is something you want to practice, you want to write down, take a screenshot of this if you want to. But what are the 4 parts? 1, what you do or did for work. Because again, this comes down to rapport, building rapport with the prospects or the brand new people in the room. 2, what did or what you do or did not like about what you do for work. And this is your pain point. This right here is probably the most important of the 4. So what did you do for work? What did or do you do for work? What did you not like about it? Talk about your pain points. So you don't like the commute. You don't like working in a cubicle. You don't like a boss who's breathing down your neck all the time. You don't like the unreasonable quota that is put on you. Whatever it is, get in touch with it and share that. And then what you found at LifeVantage. What did LifeVantage give you that you are now looking forward to? And then how do you feel about your future as a result? This becomes your why. So make sure you go over these 4 things, because it's going to be very, very important for the prospect to be aligned with you and to see some of themselves in you or make it relatable to them. But that's why 2 minutes. You want to keep it short. You want to keep it authentic and relatable. Do not, and I repeat, do not make stuff up here. Do not embellish. Do not tell untruths, because then you have to tell another lie and another lie and another lie, or another white lie, or whatever the case. Always be trustworthy and authentic, relatable, and keep it brief. And then emotional connection. It's way more important to connect with people emotionally than it is to wow them with technical details. Because they say facts tell, but stories sell. You want people to be related or relatable to you. So the next is telling the company story. This is so critically important. And I want to say something right here. This is the components of an opportunity presentation that I'm going over for you, or over with you, and stressing why I think you need to, if you are not in the front of the room, you are not telling your story, the company story, and all the things that go along with presenting information, that you need to add it to your calendar and make it very important to do so very quickly. But I also want to make sure that this whole approach is, I'm hoping to get you as excited as the day you enrolled in LifeVantage, just based on what you're hearing tonight. So this is some detail, some bullet points about the company. It was founded in 2003, and it was founded on science and innovation, being new, bringing new, unique, fresh approaches to health and wellness. It's been in business for 22 years. Since 2003, LifeVantage has been around. Why is that critically important? Because in network marketing, the statistics are very grim. 50% of all companies, not just network marketing, but 50% of all companies go out of business in their first 5 years. So when you hear people talk about a groundbreaking technology, it's a startup company, it's ground floor and all, be cautious, because 50% of companies are going to go out of business in the first 5 years. We've made it 17 years past that. And then there's other key things here. We're publicly traded. So you don't have to have somebody to believe you. Yes, it's great for people to believe you, but it's not mandatory, because people can do their own research and find that we're publicly traded on the NASDAQ. Find out that we're debt-free. Find out that we've got millions in the bank. Find out that we're purchasing and acquiring other companies, which, if you guys have heard the recent news about Love Biome and the recent acquisition we have with that company. And we're also scientifically backed products, 28 peer-reviewed and published studies validating our products. And for the critical people out there, the skeptical people out there, especially maybe the ones in healthcare, that is a critical, important thing. Most other companies, well, we are the only company that can say 28. There's a few that have a couple, but we are the only company with such a robust library of scientific validity, peer-reviewed and tier 1 published in medical journals type of research. Global presence, we're growing, and we're having an increased amount of third-party validation and credibility. That is ultimately important. And we have world-class leadership on a mission to activate humanity and change lives for the better. So these are some of the bullet points about the company that are noteworthy and people need to know. What kind of a company what kind of a company will they be joining? What is the vision? What is the heart? What is the long-term game for the company? And these go very well at establishing that right here. So now it's telling the product story. This is super critical because, and I want to go through these bullet points and explain why they are so critical. First is we have unique products. Why is that important? Because they're not me too. In other words, we're not just coming out with products you can go buy at Walmart or Whole Foods or Vitamin Shop or from another network marketing company or from Walgreens or Walmart, as an example. We have products that are not Me Too products. We have unique products, and most of them you can only get from us. Second, we have disruptive technology of activation, and I'll get into what you see in that quadrant right there, the bottom right quadrant, disruptive innovation, what that actually means. We have consumable products, which means every 30 days, the person who's buying it has to buy it again, which is predictable volume in your business. This is one of the greatest things to hang your flag on for a business potential is consumable products. Think about the people that sell Kirby vacuums or that sell Cutco cookware or knives or the Vitamix blenders. You only buy them one time. My Vitamix blender is 17 years old. I mean, when Marcy and I got into this house a couple of years ago, we sold a piano that was purchased in 1906. I mean, you only need to buy one of those things, right? Forever. Consumable products are the key to a sustainable long-term business. Relevant products. They're actually solving big problems, not just minor things like aches and pains. You can take a ton of things for that. Big problems. We're talking about like accelerated aging and fine lines and wrinkles and oxidative stress that anybody who breathes air has. These are big problems that lots and lots of people suffer from. That's a major relevant category of products. And they're sustainable. I don't know where that "and" came from. They're sustainable. So they're environmentally friendly and they're very good as far as quality is concerned. Patent protected. They're scientifically backed. They're innovative. And now let's talk more about this disruptive technology. If you look at the market of health and wellness, there's existing types of products out there, and then there's new products that come into a market. In this case, health and wellness, longevity, that's the market, the niche that we're in. And there's also technology, certain types of technologies that come. Some are existing, some are new. When an existing market and an existing product is concerned, it's not really appealing unless they're making incremental innovation. But when something is disruptive, it's in a market, an existing market, but it comes out with a new technology. People go crazy over it after a while. In the beginning, they're a little suspicious. Let's talk about a very relevant one right now, like AI. AI is a disruptive technology. It came into a market of technology that was already there. But there's people on both sides of the equation. The people that are embracing it, and I'll show you what they call those people, are very excited about it. The people that are waiting to see what's going to happen with it are the skeptics. They're the cynics. They're the people that are going to observe. Those people aren't doing much right now except maybe being critical of it. That happens in all types of markets and with all new technology. Well, ours is disruptive. And why is it so? Because it's something that is new. It's something that's innovative. It's something that is already within us. We're not discovering it. We're actually naming it. It's always been there. That's the new part of it. That's the disruptive part of it, because we're giving people for the very first time the ability to control or to make more efficient their own biology. And that is incredibly powerful. And I'll show you why it's so powerful and why people are so excited about it. But it's also exclusive. You can only get these products from LifeVantage consultants, which gives you power. It gives you predictable success. There's also a 30-day money-back guarantee. So our products are backed by a very bold statement. We'll give you a 100% money-back guarantee if you decide it's not for you within the first 30 days. And we have, because of all that, consumer and consultant confidence. Because consumers, they can buy products that they see are meeting a need, they're relevant, they're scientifically backed, they solve big problems, they're sustainable, they're patent protected, it's in a disruptive technology that most people aren't aware of, and they can be first. That's super important. We're going to talk about that next. So timing is super, super critical. In fact, I would argue that right now, with regard to LifeVantage, the timing is our biggest asset right now. And when people understand what that significantly means, and I use this diffusion of innovation bell curve to kind of bring this point across. So the whole diffusion of innovation, and this is how people embrace or adopt new technology. They don't do it with open arms. The first 2.5% of people that jump on a new technology are called the innovators. It's the people that they love change. They want to be a part of something new. These are the first people that downloaded ChatGPT and the variations that came out before that. They wanted the power that AI has rather than being critical. They wanted to have a leg up. These are the innovators, and it's 2.5% of the population. Well, I want to kind of sidestep and look, what population are we talking about? We're talking about the United States population, because in the United States, it's our biggest market for LifeVantage. There's 340, this is as of today, 340,110,988. I wanted to be exact. The number of US consultants, as our most recent shareholders call, is 63,000 company-wide. If you look at company-wide, that's, even if you took, let's say all 63,000 of those were in the United States. They're not, they're worldwide, but let's just say they were here. That's only 2/10,000ths of the population. And the first 2.5% are the innovators. So this is the 2/10,000ths of 1%. We're not even beginning to measure on the innovators scale as far as the opportunity here with LifeVantage. And we've been here 22 years. So as something gets embraced by those innovators, the people that are observing from the outside see it start to work, then some early adopters, like, okay, they're trying it, they like these products, they're feeling better. I saw their before and after picture, they didn't die, they're still around, they're still with the company just purchased another company, they're obviously doing something right. Okay, maybe I'll jump in. That's 13.5% of the population, the early adopters. Now, guess who's watching those early adopters? Every other category. And if they have similar results, then you get more results, and the company's still around, and you're still making posts, and people are still commenting on it, and they see you, and you're still part of that thing. Then the early majority starts to come in. That's 34%. Well, something critically happens at the end of that early majority. It's when 50% of the people in a population are involved in something. And I'll show you on the next slide what it means. But this is critical where it is, where we are right now. LifeVantage is in the early growth zone, not even on a blip on the radar of the innovators. That's how few people in the world are involved in this. But that also speaks to the size of the opportunity, considering we've been around for 22 years and we're scientifically validated with all the third-party endorsements that we have. And here, less than 100,000 consultants worldwide. This is a ground floor opportunity in every single market. And they say the first 2.5% in any market are the people that are truly ground floor. We're not even 200 or 2/10,000ths of a percent in our main market, and that's here in the US. So critical. Now let's talk about timing, continued. So the diffusion of innovation. This is not a light show. Let me turn this light off. So the diffusion of innovation continues. Network marketing, it's a proven industry. There's 200, this is today's statistic from the DSA, the Direct Selling Associate. I've been recently speaking with the new CEO of the DSA. We've been having a great text exchange back and forth. But these are the new figures as of now. $200 billion industry of network marketing globally. 40 billion of that, or 20%, is in the United States. And so in health and in all categories of network marketing, health and wellness is by far the most resilient. It's the one that is the most in demand. It's where the most money is being made. It's where the most people are gravitating to. And how do we, this has never been more applicable than right now. If you saw what happened last Wednesday in Congress, the way they were grilling Bobby Kennedy about the status, the healthcare status of our country and wanting to make it better, people can't even argue, or some people are arguing they don't want to make it better. It seems like it's working right when 76% of the adult population is suffering from a chronic disease, and 80% of 17 and 80% of 17 and 18-year-olds can't even get into the military because they can't pass the physical fitness exam. That is tragic. And so we definitely need health and wellness breakthroughs. That's why it's the #1 category in network marketing, always has been, always will be. But timing is everything. If you can get involved as a person joining a company before that company hits the tipping point, which is where you see that red star, it's when 50% of the population gets involved, everyone else, and they're here, let me kind of explain. So the innovators are the people, it's like, we want change, we'll try anything. And if they don't die and they seem to be getting better, their skin is looking better, they're losing weight, the people that are watching here is like, oh, they're doing something right. Those first early adopters, the next 13.5%, now you've got 16% of the population. When those people who are being observed, they're making good progress, then the people who want to be first are the early majority. They are, a lot of people want to be first, or maybe they don't want to be first, they want to be second. They want to make sure someone else is first and nothing bad happens to them. Okay, they'll jump on board. There's a lot more people who want to be second than there is to be first. But when those people, the early majority, are having results, the late majority, they don't want to be left out. They don't want to be last. So the late majority jumps on board, and it hits the tipping point, and bam, that's what sends a company into momentum. It gets literally predictable. So when momentum hits, when you hit that tipping point, it's an accelerated growth very rapidly. And then the laggards, those 16%, they don't really care about anything. But 84, if you look at that and you read this chart accurately, 84% of the population in any market, once they see it working, will eventually jump on board. That's the opportunity that you have. It's when you get involved as a consultant now, when you get involved before the tipping point or before momentum hits, you ride that critical wave. And that's critically important. You can get involved afterward. There's nothing wrong with that. And most people will. They just won't have the same opportunities when you got involved in the beginning, before the tipping point, because the money's not as much. So this is what we call the 5 principles of growth. And when you're looking at a network marketing opportunity, if you can have all 5 of these in an opportunity, it's considered the Holy Grail. This is like the Holy Grail. How many Holy Grails are there? 1. So this is kind of like the unicorn or the anomaly or the best kept secret that everybody wants, but most of the time to date, there just hasn't been one. Well, let's evaluate what these 5 principles are and cross-reference that to the LifeVantage opportunity. So these determine if an opportunity itself has the solid foundation for long-term growth. The management, meaning the corporate level leadership, the CEO down, and in our case, the board of directors down to the CEO, down to the rest of the C-suite. If they've got integrity, they've got experience, they've got vision that drives credibility and stability, you can't have better than that. And I look at, we've had 4 CEOs at LifeVantage since I've been involved. And Steve Fife, in my opinion, is by far better than all the 3 previous ones combined. He's got the heart, he's got the vision, he has a financial background. He was previously our chief financial officer before he was invited by our board of directors to be our chief executive officer. Our management, top notch. I've not seen any better. Funding, meaning where's the capital coming from? Where is the expendable money that the company needs for its day-to-day operations coming from? Well, we're debt-free. It comes from its selling of our stock. So that as our stock rises, so does our capital. We are a debt-free company with millions in the bank making investments into other multi-million-dollar companies. That's incredible. Funding, critically important. It must be financially sound. It must be well capitalized, and it supports international expansion. We just talked about opening Iceland. It's our 26th country, I think. Yes, we're expanding globally. And then field leadership. This is a given. It's a must. But when you look at field leaders, the strong leaders in the field, the top consultants in the field, they create the momentum, they create the training, they create the culture, they create the allure. But what I love about LifeVantage is even if you are on a team and you don't align with your upline, you don't align with your support team, it doesn't really matter. Because the way the culture and the community of LifeVantage is, if you find a leader, a field leader, in LifeVantage that you align with, go study under them, go learn under them, get on their trainings, go to their events, because as you get to the executive leadership of this company, you get paid for all of that anyway. It is brilliant. And I'll talk about that in the compensation plan at the last one here, but the next one. So it's the leadership, whether it's your own personal line of sponsorship or other leaders in the company, it doesn't matter. Follow them. And you should, and everybody should embrace that. When you've got field leadership that's strong, they've got integrity, they're doing great things, and they're creating excitement, we've got that too. So 1, 2, and 3, check, check, check. Number 4, compensation. The compensation plan, it needs to be lucrative because you need to be making money. If you have a business that is going to be enticing to other people, it needs to be fair. Meaning, if you are getting involved now, do you have the earning potential to somebody who's already been involved? I would tell you, you've got an earning potential if you join now better than the people that join. Because if you get yourself to executive level, you compensate or you get a certain percentage of everything the company has done since day one. Meaning you capitalize on all the work that has come before you. Not only is that fair, that's actually unlike anything else I've ever seen. That is beyond fair. It's a level playing field. And then the reward of both product sales and team building. Does it reward people for building a team? Yes, network marketing always has. Does it reward people for selling products who don't want to build a team, who don't want to do a presentation like this? Maybe they just want to make a post on Facebook or Instagram, and the only thing they want to do is Zooms. Can they make money? Heck yes, they can make money. That was the biggest draw and the biggest reason why we changed to our Evolve compensation plan, to make it a fair, equally balanced on the consultant side as well as on the consumer side, or more like an affiliate approach. We have both. And then lastly, our products. I've already mentioned this. They're consumable, they're unique, they're scientifically validated, they're products that solve real problems, they're affordable, they create emotional stories with our before and after pictures, and all of that is the lifeblood to duplication. So yes, we have all 5 of these in spades, and I will even say publicly traded on top of that. Scientifically validated products, so you don't have to sell your stories. Stories are powerful. Scientific validity combined with stories is even more powerful. And we have third-party endorsements like no other company in our entire industry, like a national news piece like ABC Primetime. Companies would die for that. So we've got 5, and we've got 4 or 5 others that just put us at the top of the list, in my opinion. Well, now let's talk about the trends. Trends are critically important. This disruptive technology from global thought leaders, books right now, and these are all #1 New York Times bestsellers. They've all sold at least 1 million copies, which means you don't sell 1 million copies of books unless people want to read what you've written in the books. The first one, Dr. Peter Attia, Outlive. It talks about proactive longevity, not reactive, proactive, doing things to be proactive, like exercise and hydration and positive thinking and good rest and all the things that come along with wellness variables. He talks about health span versus lifespan. Great book. The book Lifespan from Dr. David Sinclair, probably the world's authority on NAD. Incredible book where he talks about lifespan and slowing down the aging process. Dr. Stephen Gundry, this book just came out in March, The Gut-Brain Paradox. Where have we heard the gut-brain connection recently with our mind-body GLP-1 system? It's the paradox that we don't think we have enough control over it, when in actuality we do. That in and of itself is the paradox. The gut health is the master switch, because it's not what you eat that matters. It's what you digest and absorb that makes you you that matters. All goes over that in the gut-brain paradox. Dr. Diamandis and Tony Robbins, one of the probably the best known motivational speaker on planet Earth right now. They wrote the book called Life Force. It's all about biohacking and regenerative medicine. So does regenerative medicine have a place? Absolutely it does. And some of the terminology that the books that I've mentioned thus far, and the next one I'm going to mention, they all talk about the principles that we embrace in activation. They just don't talk about the process of activation because it's exclusive to ours. It's the best kept secret in the world, and I wish it would get out, because as soon as it does, all the people who buy these books are going to be joining our businesses because they're already looking. And then lastly, I saved the best for last, in my opinion, of these books. Dr. Casey Meadens and her brother Callie Means wrote the book called Good Energy, which talks about mitochondria and metabolic health. Guess what is involved in metabolic health? Oxidative stress, mitochondria, and NAD, the 3 biggest players in metabolic health. And guess what? They're all 3 of our activators, all mentioned individually in this book, yet they never mention activation, because Maybe the concept escapes them. And these are the thought leaders of the world talking about this disruptive technology that we possess and we alone possess. But the more people read the books, they're going to be open to your invitation because it's going to sound like something they've heard before, which is why they'll come to the invitation. Now, the whole thing about trends. So activation versus supplementation. This is growing in popularity, but it's still the best kept secret. So the old model is take supplements and hope for results. Because you can take too little, you can take too much, you can create its own problem. But activation, it's your own biology. We take it to make it. Your body knows more than any bottle out there, no matter what it is. Whether it's a supplement or a pharmaceutical, your body knows better. Take it to make it. That's what activators do. And our products turn on the health pathways. So the trends in the world, the world is getting away from pharmaceuticals. They're getting tired of supplements. They're looking for new things. They're looking for proactive, not reactive. And supplementation is gone. Activation is the new wave of interest, and it's literally the next model for I would say the next at least 2 to 3 decades of health, wellness, and longevity is activation. And right now we're the only player in the game, and when that changes, LifeVantage is going to skyrocket. Well, here's also the compensation plan. So for customer purchases and building a team, the hybrid plan that we now know called Evolve that we all love and work with every day. The affiliate model is the customers. The network marketing is building consultants and building teams. This compensation plan rewards both categories, unlike any other compensation plan in the industry. So says the CEO of the Direct Selling Association. We've had a recent conversation about that. So our compensation plan is making waves in the industry such that the CEO of the Direct Selling Association, which kind of is the regulatory body over the entire industry of network marketing and direct sales, is talking about our compensation plan. It rewards both sides of the equation. It focuses on customer acquisition and retention because our products are solving problems. That's, again, a key component here. And scalable for part-time and full-time freedom. You can replace your entire income when you do this right, and then some. So why does it work so well? Why does this 6-gear approach, your story, company story, products, timing, trends, comp plan, why does it work so well? Because your authentic story builds trust and rapport, especially with the prospects in the room. The strong company foundation builds alliances to the cause that we're about, the culture that we're about, the goal, the vision of the company. The timing or the products, they solve actual problems and they're relevant. People are looking for them right now. They don't even know that they're there because we don't have enough voices talking about them. But if they did, they would purchase them because the buying habits are there. The people are reading those 5 books that I just showed you, all of which are #1 New York Times bestsellers, meaning they've sold at least 1 million copies. People want what they read. They just don't know that we have what they're reading about and then some. It's like those books on steroids is what the reality of what we have here. The timing, the ground floor momentum, the ground floor opportunity. As far as the number of people, plus we've been around for 22 years. We're well past the concern about going out of business because we're debt free. We're buying other companies. We've got those 5 principles of an amazing holy grail opportunity. We've got all 5 of them in place. The trends, massive market demand, looking for what we have already. And then the compensation plan, it's lucrative, it's balanced, it's fair, and it pays us very, very well. So there's always pyramid scheme accusations that come up. I hear it all the time. Here's the reality of it. And this is how I defend this. When you have now it's the fear of an illegal Ponzi scheme or an illegal pyramid scheme, which are illegal. And what do they have in common? They don't have any products. They're actually only recruiting you for your position. If you get in now, everybody who comes in after you is going to be underneath you and you're going to make all kinds of money. There's no product. There's no service. And so by definition, that is illegal. And one, we have great products, relevant products, problem-solving products. So one, we're not a pyramid scheme. We're not a Ponzi scheme because we actually have products. And we have, and it's not just our opinion, ABC Primetime News, I've never seen them endorse a pyramid scheme. I've never seen them speak favorably about a pyramid scheme. And this is a 17-year-old piece, right? No, 20-year-old piece. LifeVantage, it's real products and real customers. So we actually, we're not a pyramid scheme. It's a myth. We're selling products that make a difference. And we're publicly traded on the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ usually doesn't allow pyramid schemes or illegal companies to trade openly on their platform. So the fact that we're publicly traded on the NASDAQ is pretty powerful. when it comes to refuting people's accusations of us being a pyramid scheme or illegal or a Ponzi scheme. And then research studies and scientific third-party funded and performed and published research studies. We didn't fund the initial ones. And so pyramid schemes are not typically funded by Harvard. Harvard doesn't usually invest $6 million to study products made by pyramid schemes. So there goes another one of those things out the window. And there's the affiliate style and product driven. You don't typically make good money sustainably where you are where you're mentioned in Market Watch, you're mentioned on Yahoo Stock News, you're mentioned in things like that, the people that are watching stocks. You're not typically mentioned if you are a pyramid scheme. So the objection handling is quite simple. Another thing I love about us being publicly traded is people can go research this stuff on their own. We can give them the ticker and they can go research it ad nauseum and find very favorable results of what they look for. So we don't have to have that discussion very long. And then the lifestyle vision, choices, flexibility, freedom, can build health and wellness simultaneously, because the number one and number two things people want every year is better health and better finances. When you've got both of those that are sustainable, both of those incorporated into the same opportunity, you're giving people exactly what they're looking for and then some. And then it impacts lives globally because we're expanding globally. We're expanding into new markets. We're expanding into impoverished markets that are looking for a hand up. We're expanding into seasoned markets. We're expanding all over the world because people simply want what we have, and they want to bring our products into their country to bless their people. So now we're going to get ready to close here. So practice your 2-minute story. It is critical. It is very, very critical. Be relatable. It builds rapport with your prospects. Everyone should be crafting and sharing your 2-minute story. Practice it. Put those four key points into it. What do or did you do for work? What do or did you not like about it? What did you find here at LifeVantage, and how are you thinking about the future as a result? Make sure to incorporate those 4 components into it in your 2-minute story, and focus on clarity, confidence, and connection, because again, stories bring people in. They make you relatable. They build rapport instantly. And then use the ITT, the Invite Tool Team System Framework, because it's time-tested and proven. Here's some action steps. Give 2 to 3 opportunity presentations this week. And if you can get it in front of a room, even if it's just one person over lunch, it counts. Get in front of a room, get on a Zoom and host a meeting, whatever it is. Practice and give 2 to 3 of these every week. Track your results, share it in the next session next week when we're going to be talking about the follow-up, and then progress. Your progress comes from your confidence. Your confidence will build duplication into your business because it will help you start to grow and step into the magic you were created here for. So what all that will do is help you create an SC1 factory and build momentum in your own business. The more you present the information, the more you grow in confidence. And then mastery comes through practice. The more you practice your 2-minute, and set a timer so you can actually, you'll start to develop the time frame in your head. You'll know about when you're getting close. It's something you just do over and over and over again. You can easily keep it within 2 minutes. And then the SC1 factory momentum builds from there. As your confidence grows, your presentation skills grow, your numbers of presentations increase, your leaders in your business are starting to present too, and then you watch your business grow and flourish and watch lives be challenged or lives be changed. So the key here in network marketing, the future is in the follow-up. And so next week, we're going to be talking about follow-up mastery, why it's so critically important to follow up, especially most people don't ever follow up one time. Most people will enroll after the 5th or 6th time. So follow-up is critically important.